All right. See here. Create dramatic effects. At the time of Franklin Delano Roosevelt's 1932 presidential election, the United States was in the midst of a dire economic crisis. Banks were failing at an alarming rate. Shortly after winning the election, Roosevelt went into a kind of retreat. He said nothing about his plans or his cabinet appointments. He even refused to meet the sitting president, Herbert Hoover, to discuss the transition. By the time of Roosevelt's inauguration, the country was in a state of high anxiety. In his inaugural address, Roosevelt shifted gears. He made a powerful speech making it clear that he intended to lead the country in a completely new direction, sweeping away the timid gestures of his predecessors. From then on, the pace of his speeches and public decisions, cabinet appointments, bold legislation unfolded at an incredibly rapid rate. The period after the inauguration became known as the 100 Days, and its success in altering the country's mood partly stems from Roosevelt's clever pacing and use of dramatic contrast. He held his audience in suspense, then hit them with a series of bold gestures that seemed all the more momentous because they came from nowhere. Daily Law used theatrical timing to surprise and divert, learned to orchestrate events like Roosevelt, never revealing all the cards at once, but unfolding them in a way that heightens their dramatic effect. I like that. Always keep them in a state of suspense, almost fearful of what's coming next, but also excited. What could it be? What's he gonna say? What's he gonna do? That's funny. All right. Yeah. Ready to go. Let's have a little bit of a drink, wherever it is. See. My woman says I'm still kind of have this lingering little like chest congestion and mucus situation. She says I should be taking hot showers. And she mentioned something about pneumonia. And I know there's something called walking pneumonia, where you can actually have all the symptoms of pneumonia but not feel like completely like under the weather. And she's probably right, because I do have a habit of taking cold. Even this morning I got up and took a cold rinse just to wake up. But she's right, this is lingering a little longer than it should. So, I'm going to take piping hot showers just to clear the lungs, and hopefully this will wash away soon. Kind of annoying. That's good. That's good stuff. All right, let's get this moving. Man, there might be, I'm noticing, a small transmission situation taking place in this car. Let's just word it that way. Oh. Take it nice and easy, gentle on the gas. And it seems to only be like right when I'm leaving in the morning. I don't know exactly what it could be. But like I step on the gas, feels like it doesn't want to go for a second. Always something. See if it does it here. I'll come to a complete stop. Alright, I'm stopped. It now feels fine. I don't know what the heck that is. Let's try it again. Here's another stop. Come to a complete stop, and boop. Actually, let's even put it in park. I can drive. It feels fine. I don't know. Maybe I'm imagining things? Who knows? I don't even want to say what's in my head because there's nothing good. Bad enough thinking it. It's even worse to articulate it, so I'm gonna leave it at that. But if I could allude to it, it's my history with cars. Going all the way back to the beginning. Put this away. I have a habit of opening my gate and then driving all the way to work with that little gate opener in my hand. I always forget to put it back. I love this time of morning. There's nobody on the freeway. It's glorious. What does it say? No 405 exit. Closed 6-5. What is today? The 5th? Oh no, I think that's today. Oh shit. No 405 exit. That means I better get off on the next exit. Shit. Alright, so here's what's gonna happen. I'm going to take the Haskell exit. Because if I don't, this is gonna shoot me off over into way further than I need to be. These guys. This is what I used to do anyways. I'm gonna take, just because I have plenty of time, I'm gonna take Balboa all the way across the valley. I'm not even gonna chance it. It said from the 5th to the 8th, I believe it said. So I'm gonna get off on Haskell right here. Otherwise, this takes me like way out of the way. Now I know. This to the 8th, I think it said. Yeah. So that's what's gonna happen. Haskell exit. Oh, slow down. This one comes up quick. Woo! Alright, get off, because it's gonna ruin my day. Yeah, I need to go this way, so that's my deal. Alright, this is going to be a little bit of a detour and a longer video than it should have been, but that's how it goes. This road work stuff is always putting a wrench in the gears. That's okay. Ooh, I see something crossing the street way ahead. Either a cat or a raccoon. I don't know any of these streets. Stop. Alright. Yeah, it's been a while since I've taken this. Taken Balboa all the way down that way. What an annoyance. These guys are always screwing something up with their construction work. Nothing ever seems to get fixed in a substantial way. It's always like it's just a bunch of cones and lights. And I see people sometimes, and it looks like they're doing something. And then by the time it's all done, I'm like, what did you do? You did nothing. Nothing looks different. I get to look at the, well, this used to be a Jaguar dealer. Now it's just something called Auto Nation. Or no, it was a Range Rover. Yeah, it was a Range Rover Jaguar dealer, and I guess that didn't work out. So now it says Auto Nation. How does a Jaguar dealer off of Ventura Boulevard not work out? I guess times is tough. Right. They had that sign been a little bit sooner, I would have been able to get off on Balboa. But where they placed it, I just passed the Balboa exit, and that put me a little bit more out of my way. They can't even get that right. Because had it been me, I would have had that. I would have put one right on the interchange between the 101, or like right where. I would have put it sooner. That's for sure. Almost. Hurry up, sir. I gotta get over. I know you want to drive fast. This road needs a serious upgrade. They should be working on this one because the trees on the side, this over here near the golf course, the trees on the side are like overgrowing in the slow lane. And it is like dangerous, like the humps that it creates. All right, let's take this all the way across the valley. Good thing I always have made it a habit to leave. I give myself plenty of time to get wherever I need to go because I already know me, and I get like super pissed when something happens that I hate being late. I hate being late. I don't know why that is. Probably because that's something that you do have under your own control. And it just looks bad on you to arrive to a place late. Especially if you're expected to be there at a certain time. Or if you tell somebody you're going to meet them there, like, all right, I'll meet you there at 4:30. You're 15 minutes late. You said 4:30. And I know that's a power move too. Like if you're the boss, keep everybody waiting. Because the meeting doesn't begin until you get there. And I understand that under those kind of, under that dynamic, but it's still an asshole move to do. To keep your team waiting like that. Because really, as a boss, you set the standard, right, for your team. And you're 15 minutes late or 10 minutes late or however late, just because you want to play these power games. Kind of like, that sends a message to your team that you don't value their time. And if you're the boss and you say it starts at a certain time and you're not even there on time, that's kind of disrespectful to your team. Even if it is like a power move. Like kind of like a shitty power move. That means you're a shitty boss. That's the kind of person that a team doesn't want to work for. Oh, it is green. So while I think that's even mentioned in the 48 Laws of Power, something like that, but it's still a shitty way to approach things. And I would never be that kind of boss. I'm the kind of leader. If I'm in a position of leadership, I lead by example. So if I say a meeting starts at a certain time, I'm there before you are. That's the kind of example I would set, because I would want my team to be there before the meeting even starts. Be prompt. Matter of fact, be there a little early. That shows initiative. That shows forward thinking, time management, all of that. This is going to be a little bit of a longer video, that's for sure. I'm always amazed at the amount of people that are out in the morning at this time. Pretty wild. Trying to see what time it is. I can't see on this clock. This is the worst clock ever. There's just people hanging out. Like, I don't know if they're homeless. Maybe. Some of them don't even look like that. They just look like they're hanging out. hanging around. Now, what I could do is shoot down one of these streets and hit the 405 and keep on going, but I hate the area that I have to go into to hit the 405. I'd rather even not go there. And where I'm going to catch the 405, it's not so bad. And like I said, I have plenty of time. Interesting. Manufacturing software that comes fully assembled. I'm sure it's not the one we use. I don't know who made ours, but they should have taken a little bit of a input from the people that are actually going to be using it. I think that's something that's important when you're developing a product, is that your target audience should have a little bit of input when it comes to the things that are going to annoy them the most. Like, for instance, mine, software I use times out. I guess their thinking is they don't want that software to just be left open for maybe somebody, because we all have our own station, and they don't want somebody from another station, processing work through your station if it happens to be left open and idle. So it'll time out and make you log back in. But that timeout, length of time it stays on before it times out, is way too short. Like, way too short. Could have been just a little longer. And then there's like a bug, it'll give you like a countdown. Click OK to keep the software running so it doesn't log out. So you click OK and then it logs out. I'm like, what? This is a bug that should be fixed. But no, it's just a little annoyance everybody has to deal with. I don't know. It's like the things that are so common sense to me, no one bothered to address. And then it's those little things that become the big annoyances. Work softer, as Billboard says. Whatever that means. The good thing about this route is if you time it properly, you can hit green lights all the way down. So it doesn't seem like it's taking as long as opposed to going on the freeway. Oh, I'm not going to catch this light. So obviously I didn't time it right, but still, it's possible. I could probably speed up to make it, but I don't feel like getting a ticket or popping up on a radar that I don't need to be on. So, like, at least this construction is construction at this intersection. At least you could see there's evidence of work actually being done, like the big old trench, and you can see where they're going to pour more concrete or asphalt, and they're actually fixing things. All this stuff on the freeway, I never see any evidence of any of that. I think, to be honest, they're just burning tax budget money. Because every department in the government has a specific budget. And next year's budget is calculated by what you did the last couple of years. I'm pretty sure there's an average. And if you happen to save money, like, oh, you didn't need that money? Well, you don't get it this year. That's how it goes. So in order to maintain a budget and to remain bloated, this is how all this government waste and stuff that Nick Shirley was looking into, this is how all this happens. Government bloat just to maintain a budget. That's why you hear stories of like $10,000 toilet seats. It's weird stuff like that. They're just burning money so their budget doesn't shrink. And those are facts. That's not even like tinfoil hat conspiracy. That is what happens. What should be happening, what I would do, is if, let's say you give a team a budget for a project, and you have a standard of quality for the project to be completed. If they complete that project, and it's up to standard, and they come under the budget, the rest of that budget should be rewarded amongst the team. And then next year, that same exact budget should be allocated, and the same exact standard should be required. That way they work hard to maintain a certain level of quality and proficiency and efficiency. And any extra money should be a reward. It shouldn't be like punished by having your budget shrunk. It should just be understood that, okay, you came under budget. This is your target for next year, but you still have this little pad, this little like extra budget allocated for you to not have to use, with the mindset of like, okay, we get that money as a reward for the quality being good and the budget being low. Instead of like, all right, take it away. You guys don't even get it. But you guys did this. Because you never know what happens. Things change. You may need that extra amount of money. But you shouldn't be like punished for it. And expect to do more with less. Because that's what ends up happening with that kind of thinking. Something might change from year to year. You may need to go over budget for reasons that are out of your control. Shit happens. That's kind of cool. They refurbished this like self car wash place over here, and they kind of made it look like old school, like a 50s kind of diner look. I'm almost across the valley. Let's go. I'll make it miss. I'll stop it. Yep. And there's my childhood home. I have a very love-hate relationship with this whole side of the valley. Yep. I grew up over here. To ride my bike all through the shopping center. Used to be a video store here that I used to like to go to when I was really young. There was a karate place there that I took taekwondo at. It's funny, all my best memories of this side of the valley have to do with not being at home. Because I hated my home life. And even my best memories of being at home were not with my family. They're either me alone playing video games or me outside playing. But I almost have no good memories of being with my parents. Which is kind of sad. Because they didn't have a good relationship. I almost literally have I had zero memories of them like hugging or having any kind of affection with each other. What a terrible childhood to have to be even able to say that. I have zero memories of my parents being in love. Which is probably why I am the way I am when it comes to relationships. I would never want my woman to see me the way my mom saw my dad. And that's a shameful thing to be able to say about my parents. And then they went and had kids. It's just a complete mystery to me what these people were thinking. Just a bunch of low-level thinkers, if you ask me. All right, almost to my on-ramp, passing by my grandparents' house where my mom lives, because after all these years, my parents finally split up. They're still married, and they still spend time with each other. They go places and do things. But my mom can't stand my dad, and then my dad could care less. I don't think he doesn't matter to him. Which is astounding to me. I just don't get it. I'm glad I don't understand it. I've always had this thought: if you have the capacity to understand how somebody thinks or feels, then you have that in you to be just like that. And I'm glad there's just some things I don't understand, and I don't want to understand it, because that means I could be just like that. That's what makes sense to me. I could be wrong, but that's what makes sense to me. That would be crazy if this on-ramp was closed. That's happened once. When I used to take this route once, they were doing construction like right there at the on-ramp. And I was like, how the heck am I supposed to get on the freeway? So I had to go all the way another direction and find the on-ramp over there so I could get on the freeway. If I was in a super big hurry, I probably could have cut through that gas station, but I'm fine. However long this takes. I know I'm not going to be late. It's just going to be way later than normal. Probably like a good 15 minutes longer. I should probably get there with like maybe 10, 15 minutes to spare. Which means this video will probably be somewhere like, I don't know, 40 to 50 minutes long. when normally they're probably somewhere around like half an hour long. But that's how long it takes to get it across the valley. Probably could have been, like I said, sometimes there's a time where all those green lights going down that street stay consistent. I just didn't hit that pattern this time. But yep, that's my short walk through memory lane. It's pretty sad and pathetic, but it is what it is. I used to get kind of down and sad about it. Now it's just more like, you guys are so retarded. Talking about my parents, they're just, you guys. Should have never happened at all. And I don't know how accurate I am, but I think like the length of the valley from my home to that on ramp I got on right now. I think it's the same length from that on ramp to work. I think, roughly. Maybe it's a little longer. That's kind of like the halfway point. If I remember correctly, when I used to like gauge like the time. There's the old road. It's crazy that old road was the only connecting road between the San Fernando Valley and the Santa Clarita Valley before they made this freeway. That's why it's called the old road. I don't know if it was always called that. That's what it's called now. Excuse me. Let's have more coffee since I'm not going to have enough time to drink it while I'm there. So I'm going 61 miles an hour. Let me see. Going a little quicker, I think. Either that or my speedometer's off. Looks like I'm going 63, maybe 64. I think that's wrong, because that's the one that sometimes says 55 no matter how fast you're going. So I'm going to say you're wrong. All right, so this is the hill, and I'm now cresting the hill. And now I'm going down over the hill. But now I know. My woman's probably, she's gonna worry that this took so long. So I always text her to let her know I'm safe. She's not gonna understand why until I text her, and then she sees this video. She's my number one viewer. I don't know who watches these, but there's just, somebody else watches these. At least one other person. I think it's funny. Some of these actually get views, and one of them I have no idea why. I'd only get like less than 10, less than 5 most of the time, almost all the time less than 5. But one of them got like 18 views. I'm like, what the heck? Why that one? I should probably listen to it again and see why. Like, what the heck did I say? Or whoa, I even looked at the title, because I titled it whatever I talk about or whatever happens during the ride. So this one I'll probably title something like The Trek Across the Valley. And maybe something about my childhood, because I was talking about that for a bit. But yeah, she's gonna be probably a little worried. So I'm consistent with texting her. I always just text her safe. With a little fire, a rose, and a heart emoji. And if this darn clock actually displayed in a useful way, I could know how long this has taken me, but it's microscopic. So Sony needs to get kicked in the balls. Whoever the person at Sony was, or whoever the heck, Panasonic, whoever made this stupid old radio, needs to get kicked in the crotch for designing it the way they did. See? They need people like me in the room when they market test these things. Because every product is market tested. How do I know? I work for a market research company. Funny enough, for the automobile industry. And when they market test all this stuff, they ask those kinds of questions. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? If it was up to you, what would you change? That would be one of them. The clock needs to be bigger. That would be the number one thing. I don't care about knowing what station I'm on, or I don't need the stupid little graphics that this thing is displaying. Like the clock could at least be as big as I'm seeing. Like it says KUSC on the radio right now, the classical channel the station I listen to. That's big enough to see fine. The clock should at least have been that big, and there's plenty of room to display the clock much bigger than that. But what they did is they have this little graphic that's playing, this little animated graphic, and this radio is really old. So it was around the time that the technology was allowing them to display this little animated graphic. That little shit in the background is completely unnecessary. Nobody cares about that. Get that out of here. Put a clock. That's what I would have said. But it's like this little futuristic, you'd have to see it to understand what I'm talking about. But it's like this little animated thing. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. Those are words to live by. Or you know what would be helpful too? This is what I would do. See, I have all the good ideas. I have all the good ideas and no means to put them into play. They have, you know how when you're driving on the freeway, they have these, they're turning into like electronic advertisement screens. Well, it used to be billboards. Well, now they have big screens that flash different images. Out here, it's like I guess like real estate for homes, or Toyota will, display an advertisement on there. Oh shit, I forgot. I might have to take another route again. Oh, let's see what happens. um, those billboards should have a time on them. Just keep people aware of the time. Obviously, people are going somewhere. They might need to be there at a certain time. Let's show everybody what time it is. That's what I would have done. Always have the time in the corner, visibly available for anybody who needs to know. All right, let's see what these assholes did. The scales are closed, so that's not a good sign. Here come the scales, but I don't see any lights that much further ahead of the scales, so hopefully, let's see what it says. Shoulder closed for 1,000 feet. Oh, nope. Okay, I think we're open. I think we're good. All right, we're good. That would have been a double whammy. Couldn't get on my freeway, couldn't take my exit, but that's not the case, so that's good. I can't wait for this lotto check to clear. I don't have to deal with any of this. I'm out. I'll figure something else out. I would still work. I would still find something to do in terms of. I would never sit on my ass. If I ever came into a windfall like that and just do nothing, ugh, no way. I have to stay moving. I have to stay productive. I would definitely find something to generate income. I am not that person. Do nothing. Ugh. See if I can see what time. It's 3:47. I was right. Took about 45 to 50 minutes to get here. And I wake up at 2:30. I leave at about 3, and I normally get here around 3:30. But it's 3:47. See, I know my timing. I know the distance, I know how fast I travel. I've done it before. Boop boop, boop boop. Alright. I am safely in the parking lot. Thank goodness. Alright, so now I know for the next couple days that's going to be my route. And next time I'm just getting off on Balboa. Well, I'm right there at Balboa. I don't even need to get on the freeway. I don't know what I'm talking about. Yep. Just don't need to be on the freeway for the next couple days. At least to get across the valley. Alright. That was that. Alright, let's have a fantastic day. Let's go to work.